Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining us at the 2024 Sloan Sports Analytics Conference Competitive Advantage Talks, presented by Kager, also known as the Craft Analytics Group. My name is Cameron Russell. I'm a first-year MBA student here at MIT Sloan, and it's my pleasure to introduce this presentation, the LA Rams Championship Journey Off the Field, Remaking Data-Driven Marketing Through Technology, sponsored by Kager. Now, please join me in welcoming our speaker, Marty Turman, VP of Fan Marketing and Insights at the LA Rams, to the stage.
Thanks, Cam. All right, let's see if I work this right. Good morning, everyone. Great to be here today. Have friends from Kager. Checked off Kager now. No, it's great to be here this morning. Do you have any students here? Students, yeah. Thanks for being here. So if there's one bit of wisdom I can give you as you look into your career journey after this and move along your careers, always ask what time you're going to be speaking before you agree to actually speak, so that you don't end up at an 8:30 panel in the morning when it's 5:30 your time. So with that, we'll get into things here. Marty Turman, Vice President of Fan Marketing and Insights for the Los Angeles Rams. Fan marketing, we call ourselves the FMI team, but it's Fan Marketing Insights. What we cover is fan marketing, marketing technology, loyalty marketing, and marketing analytics. And I'll dive into that a little bit further because I know across the industry, those definitions change quite a bit. You have a lot of different teams that maybe you have marketing technology that reports to IT, or you have analytics that reports to finance. In our area, this is all centralized within marketing. From a fan marketing standpoint, our team is really focused on how do we drive the best customer journey possible, and how do we bring that to life through email marketing, through SMS marketing, through direct mail, and advertising as well. So bringing that down to a customer level as best as possible. From a loyalty standpoint, building the overall loyalty strategy, really the goal there is how do we build lifelong fandom across LA as well as across the world for Rams fans. So once we actually bring them into the funnel, once we get them into being fans, how do we drive that lifelong avidity? From a marketing technology standpoint, utilizing all of our tools and capabilities to drive that customer journey. So building out those customer journey constructs, working with our fan marketing team, working with our analytics team, being able to have the tools and capabilities to support everything that they need to make everything happen from a data-driven standpoint that we want to happen. And then marketing analytics. So our marketing analytics team is focused on performance marketing, our marketing trends, and overall fan insights. So we're supporting our fan marketing team. We're supporting our owned and operated channels from a content standpoint, from a web standpoint. We do have some segmented analytics teams across the organization. All of them work very strongly together and work great. But for my team, it is focused on marketing and media performance. We do have a ticketing analytics team and strategy analytics team that all fall under our strategic arm of the business. And we have a partnership marketing team that has an analytics team as well. And Oliver may or may not be in the audience, so if you want to talk about partnership insights, he's a great one to talk to on that. So bringing it back to the Rams as an overall organization, I think it's important to talk through the journey that we've had, because it hasn't been as easy as, oh, hey, we're back in LA, open up the doors and everyone's going to come in. There was a large gap, as you know, from the Rams having moved from LA to St. Louis and then coming back again. We had a 50-year tenure within LA with about a 20-year gap in between. So when we came back, there was fans that were fans of the Rams from before we left, so hardcore Angelino Rams fans that, blue and yellow, blue and gold throughout our journey of being in St. Louis, and we're happy to see us come back. But then we had probably an equal share of individuals within Los Angeles that either grew up without a favorite team and had to choose a team that was not local, grew up in LA without a team and just didn't really care about football much at all, or as Los Angeles is a city of transplants, just like New York, just like Boston as well. What you saw also is a lot of individuals that moved to Los Angeles that had a favorite team from wherever they moved from before. So our goal was pretty large, right? So we had to reactivate those fans that were Angelinos and were fans of the Rams from previously, but also try to get those fans that didn't have Rams as their favorite team to bring them on. So it was like a hybrid situation where it was reactivating fans, but also kind of treating ourselves as an expansion franchise as well. So over the course of the next few years, we worked out of the LA Coliseum from a game day standpoint. If any of you have been to the LA Coliseum, any of you are Trojans, I went to USC. It's a beautiful stadium, a lot of rich history, not very rich in updates though. So it was a less than stellar NFL fan experience. And then in 2018 and 2019, there was quite a bit of renovations going on there, including ripping out prime seats on the 50-yard line. And so over time, it just became an experience for fans that wasn't as up to par of what they wanted, and started fading in terms of interest in going to those games and holding off for SoFi Stadium. Then finally in 2020, the moment that we had been waiting for forever, the moment that our Rams fans had been waiting for forever and Los Angeles had been waiting for forever, a home for the Rams, a place that the Rams could call their home and the Rams fans could call the place that they go to on Sundays. We had a new brand launched, we had new uniforms launched, we were excited about all that, and we were able to unveil it to a huge stadium filled with 0 fans as COVID hit. Won't go into that and look for any tears on that because I know we all experienced that, both on personal side as well as on a business side. But obviously a challenging time is all that excitement build up to not be able to unveil it in front of a lot of fans. But then in 2021 and into 2022 season, finally the moment that we've been waiting for, we welcomed fans in the stadium, and we had a team that was built for winning a championship, and we did. So we won the Super Bowl that 2021 season, 2022 year, and excited. Had a lot of momentum on our side and really was building up quite a bit of a fan base in LA and across the world as well as we went along that journey. From a data-driven capabilities standpoint, it wasn't all that different. So we came to LA, we had a team that moved from St. Louis to LA, pretty scrappy, built a CRM system and a overall data system that had to house Rams data, Chargers data, and then Legends, who was selling our seat licenses. So we had a seat license product. In order to get into our season tickets, you had to buy a seat license to the stadium. We had to have that built all in one system, and it was up to the Rams to actually build it out. So we actually had systems where Chargers data was in there, but the Rams individuals couldn't see it and vice versa, and then Legends would be able to see everything. So it was a pretty complicated setup with this dual tenancy, but the team was able to pull that off. But a lot of attention went to that. Not as much attention was able to be put into other resources and other tools and capabilities across the organization. So we weren't performing as good as we could have from a data standpoint. We weren't collecting all the data that we needed to. We weren't able to do some more advanced analytics, but the team was doing a great job with the plate full of spaghetti they're handed. Over time, data-driven marketing became more and more of a focus of the organization and put a commitment into that. So where we started at that point, about 2018, 2019 or so, we started looking into how do we actually unify all of our data? How do we bring it all together and actually use it powerfully? Because we didn't know much about our fans. We didn't know much about what they were spending or what they were doing on an individual basis. In fact, our team, just to get a single view of a fan, we had to dump ticketing, merch, and email engagement data in Excel and do VLOOKUPs. And I remember our developer, Preston, it took him 1 month to do that because Excel kept crashing. I'm like, why don't you do this in like Access or SPSS or something? But that's a different story. But so no longer were we looking to do just this out of Excel and have a single view of a fan. We actually wanted to go and build a database to be able to do this. And this sounds, especially in 2024, it sounds really ridiculous to actually talk about that. We were working off of Excel just a couple of years ago, but that's the truth. So we went out there and we looked kind of high and low for a data warehouse and what we wanted to do to bring all the data together. We looked kind of big box, small box. We looked, sports-centric, non-sports-centric. And ultimately what we decided is that if we bought a Ferrari, we'd drive it like a Dodge. So why spend the money for a Ferrari? And we went more with the Dodge. And we got things rolling. So we actually had a first ever sense of what our customers look like, at least from a fairly basic level from some data sources, but we were able to bring that together and start utilizing that data for the first time. Over time, we actually got more and more sophisticated. We were able to build more advanced analytics. We were able to do some personalization. Personalization was kind of season ticket holder, non-season ticket holder level, utilizing some customer attributes. So able to get some sophistication in there, but not nearly as much as what we wanted. And as the SoFi Stadium had opened, and we had a stadium that had just as many technological advancements that it did architectural feats, we realized we were out-kicking our coverage. We wanted more, and we could do more than what we were able to actually do with our tools and capabilities. And so that's where we started over. And we decided to create this vision, get approval for it all, and be able to really build our tech stack anew and start on our new data-driven journey. So we'll talk more about that. First with the vision here. So our vision was, again, pretty grand. It was to completely remake everything and become this advanced data-driven marketing organization, what we had wanted to be for several years. So we laid out the vision of where we actually wanted to be, so not just acquire some tools and then start to piece stuff together, but actually look at where we want to go with it. So we started with source data collected. Pretty simple, right? Table stakes. We had to get our data. We had to get all of our data. We had to get our data all in one place. We had to bring it all together, and we had to start using that data. We had to then start moving it to our endpoints, so making sure our marketing systems were able to handle this data, were able to utilize it, able to take that single view that we were creating in a data warehouse and make it all reality. So once it was in flattened and enriched, we had a complete view of the customer and all that they were doing, then we were able to actually do some advanced messaging and personalization within there. And then finally, once we were doing all that, we had to make sure that we were constantly evaluating performance. And then once we were evaluating our performance and forming some insights, constantly optimizing what we were doing. So we took this vision, we brought it to our COO, Kevin Demoff. I think he's here today to speak. You should definitely listen to him. Awesome guy, great insights from him. But we took it to him and we said, here's our vision, here's what we want to do. And he said, okay, well, we just won the Super Bowl. We've got a lot of momentum on our side. We've created a lot of strong fan base with what we're already doing. But what you're trying to build is a rainy day fund, right? Like if things aren't going well in the future, if we're not performing well in the field, if the fans are less engaged, this is our rainy day fund that is going to help us, support us, and get us through the hard times and push us back into the good times, right? And I said, yeah. He said, all right, let's do it. So it was as easy as that. All you have to do is like a 1-minute shtick to your COO, and then he'll sign a check here for millions of dollars of technology. So we took that vision, then we said, okay, let's look at what we currently have. Let's look at our current stack and where we're performant, where we're non-performant. And what we saw was kind of across the board, we weren't where we wanted to be in any capability of what we needed to bring our data-driven vision to life. So particularly when you get into data warehousing, when we get into master data management, from a personalization standpoint, those areas were just not strong. We didn't have advanced capabilities. We didn't have systems that were performing as we wanted to. We also had a data warehouse that was being decommissioned at the time. So we kind of had a burning platform where we had to get off of it at some point. So mix all those things together, and it was time. So we looked at this and said, okay, we pretty much have to just strip everything down to the studs, right? Like we're in a place that our systems aren't doing what we want, and there's only one way to make this happen. We can't just start piecemealing it together, start stitching it and saying, okay, well, we'll get this, we'll get this, we'll get this, and we'll figure it all out, and we'll do this over a couple of years. Instead, we just have to get short-term, massive pain into long-term gain. And so I'd love to say that was just a couple months, but it was over quite some time, obviously, that we did RFPs, we looked through a lot of different technology, and then we started to identify those that we wanted to bring in-house. And the main goal there was making sure that we had everything connected, right? So that all of our systems were talking, our data was flowing everywhere, and it was really enabling everything that we do. So where we started was from a data warehouse standpoint. Craft Analytics Group at Kager is our data warehouse. And so what was important was not just getting our data in one place, but really getting our data in place that also the solution that had some CDP qualities to it, that was able to do some advanced analytics and had a lot of support, and not just from a warehouse that was landing our data. So we had that as our central brain. We had to make sure that everything that we did from there was working with that central brain. So we focused then on a marketing automation platform that could integrate with it, as well as do all the things we want to do from a multi-channel, real-time customer journey standpoint, right? So not just sending out emails because we have tickets for sale, or not just sending out emails because we have a community event coming up, but something that is part of an actual customer journey and is able to send it out across email, SMS, put it in our ads, and do everything else that we needed to. Also from a sales standpoint, when I talked before about seat licenses and season tickets, those were done out of different systems. And I don't know if Megan Bell's here from the Chargers, but Megan was experiencing this on the Chargers side as well, right? We were able to sell season tickets, but then we had to rely on a third party to go sell us seat licenses, and those things weren't working together necessarily. We had different Arctics IDs for the seat license that we did season tickets, and so it just created this jumble there. So we had to identify a sales system that was able to allow us to be able to see those different instances all in one location and not have to do so much manual intervention across multiple teams to make that all happen. So we picked a CRM system in Salesforce that was able to not just tie that together, but also had a sleeker interface. And then also real-time marketing as well. So we don't have a loyalty program. It's something that we might do over the long term. We're still evaluating if that's where we want to go. But a real-time platform that's able to do in-the-moment marketing to our fans, be able to hit them with offers, surprising delights, but also has a backbone from a loyalty standpoint if we do want to leverage that. And again, utilizing some models from Kager to be the engine for all of that. So that's where our, once we started identifying tools and where we wanted to go, that's what our future stack started to look like. It's not filled in on every single one, but we're okay with that because we know it's doing what we needed to do, and we also know that at some point we're going to have tools that we're not going to be able to fully utilize as well. So that's where our stack landed. Where we're at now, so taking all those things into account and actually putting it in motion. So fortunately, you can't just find new technology and walk out the door. You actually have to do something with it. So from a data management standpoint, with Kager, we finally have a clean and stable data environment. So not only can we count on the data warehouse actually being up and running each day, which is kind of key, we also are able to have data tied together from many, many different sources. We don't have to pick and choose of, okay, we'll just do these three sources, or we got a new source and we're not able to bring it in. All that's coming in now. We have new sources that we're still integrating as well, but all that's talking with each other, and we have a single view of a fan. We're also working with the league to bring in league data, obviously, our partners to bring in third-party data as well. So it's all working. It's a nicely tuned engine, and still looking at how do we optimize this further and further and further. But that's key. And then we have a closed loop cycle between our data warehouse, our marketing automation platform, our CRM system, our key systems where data is flowing back and forth bidirectionally. We're enriching data, as I said, with league data and partner data. Our CRM platform that I was telling you about has coordination, not just with the C licenses, but also with our marketing automation system that didn't exist before. Our CCPA requirements, which is like the least sexy thing that we want to talk about, but it's something we have to fulfill, right? It's not an easy thing to do when someone asks you to delete all their information or tell us all the information that we have on them. But those are much easier to fulfill now than it was before, where we're able to perform those within a day versus it taking weeks before. And then finally, our lead routing is fully automated from our marketing automation system and from Kager into our sales CRM system. So we're able to do lead nurturing, really activate based on real time from activities that our fans have. And then we're looking at integrating living models into that as well, so that those are constantly updating, and we'll build that over time. From a marketing automation standpoint, we have the ability to email, SMS, and push out of one location if we want to, so from a journey standpoint. So we do rely on the individual systems to do that on a day-to-day basis, but when we're looking from an overall journey standpoint, we can push that all out from one central system in the marketing automation platform. Our Know Before You Go journeys are going out in somewhat real time, but more so on a regular journey basis versus before, where our Know Before You Goes that were going just when we were able to push them out. So for those of you that are on that side of the business, you know that the Know Before You Goes are extremely important to fans. It's really, it can drive their overall experience, but we weren't able to send those out to people on a regular basis. It was going out like every couple days with a manual list pull from ticketing, and so fans were getting it kind of at the time that we could send it versus the time that they actually needed it. So that's been a huge improvement and it's helped our game day scores quite a bit. Triggered messaging going out from a real-time engine, so we're able to, when a fan scans in, able to send out an offer to them or have them come and do a surprise and delight. This coming year, we're going to have full integration into the stadium POSs, so that way we can have those redeemable offers at the kiosks themselves, so they can get $5 off food and beverage, or they can get a complimentary sandwich, whatever it might be. But we're able to utilize that and really drive from a loyalty standpoint. Bidirectional data going from our CRM and a marketing automation platform that we talked about already. Our better targeted audience from a digital ad campaign standpoint. So my team runs Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, mountain campaigns that is targeting specific fans. So not just going after a wide audience like we used to be able to, but now it's really honing in to who are those audiences that look alike from a season tickets member standpoint, or disengaged fans, or fans that we're just not able to reach from some channels. We're able to reach them through digital means. What we've seen over time is our CPM has dropped significantly, our ROAS has increased significantly, and overall we're just getting more and more refined in how we target audiences, leveraging our data and our marketing automation. We brought in a new SMS platform that has been amazing for what we can do on a game day standpoint, so engaging with fans while they're in the stadium, growing our opt-ins 15% year over year. 50 percentage points year over year with what we've been doing there, as well as just overall being able to bring in the data and automate the profiles and everything else that we're doing on an SMS standpoint. And then finally, we have our ability now to dynamically change elements on the website. So we can't do a fully customized website with the league from a CMS standpoint, but what we're able to do is we're able to dynamically optimize when a fan is looking at specific products, has specific interests. We're able to change different elements around the website itself, and then hopefully over time we can do a really true full customization that's all a marketing automation platform. On the analytics side of things, we're accessing that full enterprise data that we haven't been able to before. All that's coming into our dashboards. We're able to build out pretty significant dashboards for different teams. So from a paid standpoint, from an email standpoint, from a media standpoint, we now have an executive dashboard that is bringing all of our key areas together so that our executive team can really focus on how we're trending from the key points that they're looking at. Also, we're able to trend out on a regular basis our organizational goals and how we're performing on those throughout the year, which is obviously really important for us to have a cool look at how we're doing there. And then the consumption of our app and social data, all that's pulling automatically into our dashboards as well, which has been a really strong partnership with our analytics team and the media team to be able to, for them to optimize on a regular basis what they're looking at from a social standpoint. So we've done quite a bit. We've come a long way. Really happy with what we're able to do now, but there's still plenty more to do, right? The journey is never over. It's always continual. So we have things in place now that we still need to optimize quite a bit. We also have those parts of our vision that we haven't been able to get to yet. So a few of those things are cloud architecture, looking at how do we build a system that is able to house just a massive amount of unstructured data, and then also bring in that web behavior data that we haven't been able to get to an individual basis. So we have improved on that quite a bit and actually understanding some web behavior, but not truly down to a one-to-one basis like we would like to. And then looking at machine learning models with that cloud architecture so that we can have segmentation that is learning constantly about how customers' behaviors are changing. And then bringing that into a mass personalization standpoint. So we're doing more advanced personalization than we had before. Our tools are allowing us to be able to do those things. But we still have to get that muscle memory going of how do we actually do this, and also figuring out like what is actually meaningful differentiation when we personalize to our fans. And then utilizing Gen AI is probably going to be a big key for us as we start to further down our personalization journey and looking at how do we actually individualize content and creative down to the customer level that we're not going to be able to do from a truly human standpoint. And then finally, having a full journey analytics. So now that we have all the data flowing in, we're building out these multi-channel journeys, actually looking at what are those different entry points, what are those different touch points and key moments along that customer journey that is the most impactful, so we can start focusing more and more energy into amplifying those things and taking away energy from those efforts that aren't producing the right outcomes. And then finally, looking at delayered attribution. So right now, we have an attribution standpoint. We're looking at what's performing, what's not, but really, truly looking at, okay, if we look at every single channel and every single moment, what is driving each individual outcome of what we're trying to do, versus just kind of looking at the full picture and say, well, we did ads, email, and SMS, and it drove a sale, so therefore we're just going to kind of split that attribution up across the three, truly looking at what is that individualized attribution. So to recap, we started our journey kind of like Aaron Donald in high school. So a lot of raw talent. You could see the future there. You could see that it was performing, but it wasn't nearly as all pro as he is today. We had siloed data. We were doing a lot of manual automation, as we would call it. We had very basic data proficiency and not using the data to our full advantage. We had minimal performance tracking. Then, as the years went on, we were like Aaron Donald in college, right? So he was started performing better and better and better. Still not an all-pro yet, but you could really see that he was starting to turn a corner, and you're seeing the brilliance of him. So at that point, we had centralized data we brought into all one place. We were able to see that single view. We had bilateral data in a few different places. We were able to start doing some advanced data proficiency with dashboards and some modeling. And our dashboards were mostly static, though. We were uploading manually the results. But then along our journey, we finally got to a point where we're like Aaron Donald right now, maybe not as jacked, but we're trying to get there, right? We're committed to trying to get as jacked as him. And where we're at is more centralized network data, so all that's being brought into the data warehouse and being sent back out, and constantly amplifying that and enriching it. We have journey-based cross-channel messaging going on. We have real-time capabilities where we're actually able to meet our fans in the moment. And then we have holistic insights, so insights that are across the board and not just fragmented and segmented, but we're trying to bring it all together and look at that entire customer journey. So with that, I'll say my piece and thank you for coming. I'll take any questions you have, but I hope this was helpful. I know some of you might be just starting your journey or might be in the middle of your journey. If I could be a resource for any of you, please let me know. And thanks for joining me today. What's that? Yeah, any questions? Is that what, yeah, 2 minutes, is that what are you saying? Yeah, okay, 2 minutes for questions. Anyone have any questions that I can help answer? It's early, but back there first and then get up right here.
Hi, thank you so much. That was really informative and just interesting to hear. My main question is around how much of the advancement has been, do you think, discovery of things that you weren't doing before and then implementing them versus the actual advancements in AI and processes, and as we go forward, as more things are developed, like what is your advice and recommendation for following those things and implementing them?
Yeah, great question, thank you. So from an assessment standpoint, I'd say that's where we spent a lot of time, right? So we spent a lot of time looking across the industry, outside of the industry to understand what people are doing from an advanced standpoint that we wanted to do and what were those outcomes, and then assessing our tools, assessing our capabilities, assessing the people that we had in our organization, what we need to go out and go find. So we spent a lot of time there, and honestly, we're still in the journey, right? So we've all those things I just shared in those last 3 slides was what we've done and what we're still working on. But we have so much more that we know we can do, and so we've seen some really good results. It also, I'm very big into start to put things in motion and see what happens. So whether it be testing, which is obviously huge and you should be doing that constantly, or just putting stuff out there and seeing what you get back. And then once we're able to evaluate that, then being able to say, okay, here's where we should spend more energy, or here's where we're completely deficient and we need to go get some new tools and more resources to make it happen. So I guess to the second part of your question there, what I'd say is start evaluating everything, right? Evaluate all of your tools, evaluating all of your activities, and start to lay that out, actually get some structure around it, and then be able to assess what you need to go, and then constantly just be trying new things, test and learn. Yeah. And then,
yeah, I thought that slide where you went through your entire tech stack and had the ratings was really impressive. And was wondering, when you were looking at fan journey capabilities, what were the 2 or 3 capabilities you were looking for in a partner to implement when you were doing fan journeys?
So I'd say the 2 that were most important was, 1, being able to ingest and utilize data. We were on a previous tool that was able to do some of that, but we had so much manual work. Every time that we wanted to bring in our season ticket holders, if we were doing a renew campaign and we wanted to look at who was paid versus non-paid for next year's season tickets, and had to just manually load that in and create a brand new attribute for it. So something that was able to be automated to bring in those insights and being able to bring in that fan profile that we weren't able to have. So that was kind of table stakes. And then being able to do some automated personalization, because personalization, I keep saying the word over and over and over again, but it's key, right? Being able to make sure that message lands with our customers and reaches them at the right time with the right message is really important. It's really hard to do. It's very hard from a hands-on perspective. You just don't have enough hours in the day, enough people to do it. So it's really important to make sure that that's something that the system can do from an automated standpoint, an intelligent standpoint, and build some of that stuff on its own. Yeah, of course. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Appreciate you all coming. Have a great day. Enjoy Sloan.